Good evening, I'm Susan Ormiston, and this is The National. Canada's economy roars ahead like it hasn't in 15 years. The reasons why, and the impact on you, good and bad. They disrupted an Indigenous ceremony in Halifax. Now, armed forces members are back on regular duty.
You cannot just turn around and fire everybody. They have rights.
Air Transat refutes some passenger complaints about their long, hot and smelly ordeal.
It's not that I don't believe them.
Plus, 20 years after her death, memories of Diana in Canada. Red hot and running strong. New numbers show the Canadian economy far exceeded expectations over the last quarter and posted the strongest 6 months of growth in 15 years. According to Statistics Canada, second quarter growth was an impressive 4.5%. And there are several key indicators of economic health that are robust as well. Canadian households spent more, exports were up, including the energy industry. Great news for the long-suffering oil patch. So, what does this all mean for you? Business reporter Jacqueline Hansen is here. Jacqueline, why is Canada doing so well?
Well, there are actually many reasons for this, which is a good thing. You mentioned exports, so strong exports, but we are also past what you could say is the worst of the oil crisis that we saw. So we saw that oil price slump happen in the end of 2014. Now, oil prices have not fully recovered since then. They're still trading below $50 a barrel, but we seem to be past the worst of that. But also, this comes down to consumers, Canadian consumers. They keep on spending money, and that really helps the overall economy.
So we're spending more, but aren't we supposed to worry about that? You know, the reports that Canadians aren't saving enough?
I know. It seems, every week we talk about debt levels, but we also got numbers today that show that although Canadians are spending more, the household savings rate is also up. So that's a good sign.
It is. Now, what does this do to the interest rate discussion?
Right. So it makes the likelihood of another interest rate hike, even more likely. So we could see it as soon as even next week, some analysts are saying, when we hear from the Bank of Canada then. More think that we will be seeing it happen in October, maybe even December. But it really makes the case for that the Canadian economy doesn't necessarily need ultra-low interest rates anymore, and that it could handle not just the rate hike that we had in July, but more.
So we'll be watching for that. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
The Canadian Armed Forces announced their decisions today following an inquiry into 5 servicemen who disrupted an Indigenous protest on Canada Day. It was a disturbing incident, and Indigenous groups are shocked and disappointed again. Tom Murphy reports.
From the Navy's top man on the East Coast.
The investigation has now been completed, and I can announce that no criminal charges will be laid.
No charges for these guys. Remember them?
This is Mi'kmaq territory. This is not Canada.
This is Canada.
They're members of the so-called Proud Boys Maritimes chapter, an ultra-far-right men's organization of self-proclaimed Western chauvinists. Earlier this summer, they disrupted this Mi'kmaq gathering in Halifax at the foot of a statue of Edward Cornwallis, who issued a bounty on the scalps of the Mi'kmaq back in 1749.
Why don't you give all that you own back? Give your sweater, give your pants, give your shoes, give your house, give it all back.
Off duty at the time, the Canadian Forces members were relieved of their duties pending an investigation. Now, after a firm warning not to breach the Armed Forces Code of Conduct again, they are back, albeit on probation.
With the exception of one individual who has since left the Canadian Armed Forces, the 4 serving members are being returned to their operational units and regular duties.
No demotions and few details about what conditions the members must adhere to. From Canada's top general, I expect every CAF member to learn from this situation and demonstrate professionalism and proper conduct both in and out of uniform. Members of the Mi'kmaq were consulted about this case, but aren't happy with the outcome.
Yes, the Admiral did consult with community, but the individuals did not have to face the community themselves.
You cannot just turn around and fire everybody. They have rights. They have charter rights. As individual Canadians outside of the military, they have charter rights. And you're allowed to you're allowed to assemble and you're allowed to have opinion.
So the members will continue to wear the uniform many say they brought shame to. Tonight, the Proud Boys Canadian chapters posted "We Win" on Facebook. For his part, Rear Admiral Newton says he believes the young men are remorseful, but if they embarrass the Canadian Forces again, if they fail probation, he says they could well be terminated. Tom Murphy, CBC News, Halifax.
After getting an earful from outraged passengers, Air Transat gave its side of the story today, explaining why passengers spent hours on the tarmac in Ottawa last month. Katie Simpson reports.
911 emergency, do you need police or paramedics?
This is the moment relief finally arrived for hundreds of passengers stuck on board a delayed Air Transat flight. But what led to this emergency response was beyond the airline's control, according to Air Transat.
We are not blaming anybody. We are saying that this is the result of a chain of events, of a domino effect, based on the actions of all the players.
We do need everybody's cooperation.
Officials from the air carrier testified today it kept passengers on board 2 flights diverted to Ottawa for up to 6 hours because its pilots were given inaccurate information about how long it would take to refuel. Both pilots say initial delays of 30 minutes kept being extended and that it would be the lesser of 2 evils to wait it out, since letting people off the plane would have been complicated and expensive.
Can you find 360 hotel rooms inside of a couple of minutes? I don't think so. It's a logistical challenge.
Travelers say they were held in sweltering conditions with little food or water.
No water. We're going to die here.
On one flight, a child even threw up, while on the other, distressed passengers called 911.
Who called 911 from this aircraft?
Today, Air Transat seemed to downplay some of the passengers' claims.
It's not that I not believe them. I was not there. Temperatures can be perceived differently by everyone.
Aucune demande de passagers pour débarquer à Ottawa.
The airline also denied it had any requests from passengers to get off the plane, all of which was frustrating for this passenger who showed up in person to question Air Transat himself.
I just want to testify that I asked on 2 occasions to your staff if I could disembark.
Air Transat has given passengers from one of the flights $400 in compensation and has no plans to offer anything more. The Canadian Transportation Agency will now examine the evidence and weigh its options, but there's no timeline set for when it will release its conclusions. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Ottawa.
The number of people crossing into Quebec illegally from U.S. has dropped off significantly. In July and early August, between 150 and 300 asylum seekers were crossing at this location every day. Today, the Canada Border Services Agency said since the end of last week, the numbers have declined to between 50 and 100 people a day. Coming up, hospital cameras let anxious parents live stream fragile newborns. It's meant to be comforting, but sometimes it's the opposite. Plus, regulators approve a pipeline expansion in BC. We'll look at safeguards in case of spills. The sun that spilled over Texas today belied the danger people still face. Days after Hurricane Harvey, at least 39 are dead, and at every turn, there's more trouble.
We had heard some popping noise coming from that area, then gray smoke, followed by a fire.
Flooding set off small chemical explosions at this plant northeast of Houston. No one can get in to deal with it, and some residents are uneasy.
We're concerned about the fumes and that's going to be if they come up in there and that.
But officials insist the burning peroxides aren't a public threat. To the east in Beaumont, failing water pumps forced patients out of the hospital. Across the flooded state, it's a door-to-door effort to rescue people, and in some cases, finally force them to leave. Stephen D'Souza saw that firsthand in one Houston neighborhood.
Day 6 since Harvey first hit, and for some, it's still a slow, soggy slog. While parts of Houston went back to work today, in this neighborhood, the commute was by boat, raft, kayak, or foot.
Where you guys heading to?
They're heading home, hoping against hope they can salvage the basics to get through the day.
Get some work clothes for my wife and papers that we need. We didn't plan very well, I guess, you know.
This is hard to when the water's coming, right?
Yeah. and it was coming and coming and coming.
Liz Villani managed to retrieve her mother's 2 dogs.
It's really, really bad. I mean, the water is probably maybe a little bit over 5 feet. Yeah, and we were scared to get out of the boat just to get these guys. But it's bad. It's really, really bad.
Among the volunteers helping residents make the journey, 2 brothers from San Antonio. They bought this 5-ton truck earlier this week just so they could come here and lend a helping hand.
Texas pride. I mean, I was trained on these when I was in the Marine Corps, so I felt pretty comfortable driving it, and we couldn't sit around and watch all these folks, so we had to get them out.
We ride along as they go into the worst of it. Even after 2 days with no rain, here it might as well be day 1 of the flood. We've heard a lot about the 2 reservoirs in Houston where they had to do a controlled release of water and a little bit of water overflowed. Well, this neighborhood is right in between both of those reservoirs, and here you can see the result. Inside those apartments are residents who refuse to leave. They're hoping they can outlast the floodwater. Khaled Suleiman was one of them until Morris drove by.
I had no water inside my house. But I mean, look, the water is like 3 feet high. I was running out of supplies. You know, I had to leave at some point.
Yeah, my leg muscles gone.
Yeah, I know it.
They've made 4 trips and never have a shortage of grateful passengers who, despite the stress, do their best to stay positive.
And we make it through, we'll have a hell of a story to tell, man. We was in history.
This, though, is a story still being written. Chris Brazel is another holdout who finally gave up waiting for the water to recede.
We made it through. There's some people that lost their lives during this, and I mean, that's a traumatic experience, and I wish this on no one.
For some of the volunteers, it's time to move on. Another neighborhood needs their help. Believe it or not, there are still places worse off than this, as the city continues its long, slow journey towards recovery. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, Houston.
The public safety minister says Canada will do its part to help. Ralph Goodale tweeted today that the U.S. Federal Emergency Management Agency has requested assistance looking for hygiene kits and baby supplies, which Canada will provide. For some Texans, of course, escaping Harvey meant getting out fast, forced to leave treasured pets behind. Days later, shelters are struggling to cope with an influx of rescued animals. Kim Brunhuber has that.
Behind these buildings, there's a cage. 2 dogs are in the cage. No way to tell for sure, but my guess, when their owners heard a Category 4 hurricane was going to land here in Rockport, they dumped some dog food on the ground, filled 2 buckets with water, and took off. As you can see, his food is all mixed up there with his feces.
Oh, man.
All across Texas, pets lost, abandoned, or dead. Experts estimate some tens of thousands. Sometimes their owners come back for them.
Look at 5 days, son.
Oh, dang.
You believe that? 5 days. And she was just floating around.
Wait, she was on the water?
She was on the water in the house, just floating around.
I kind of got scared for her because I didn't want us to go back home and see a bunny dead. I'm happy I get to see her again.
But too often they don't, or can't.
Okay, let's go to...
This bus is headed for Houston. In the back are 70 cages.
She is headed into the shelter right now.
Animal shelters in Houston are overflowing with animals and sometimes water.
And the water has risen, and they're having to close their doors.
These are a few of the dozens they've rescued so far. The cages vibrate, tails protrude, but crammed is better than wet, or worse. This organization is made up of only 3 staff, but dozens of volunteers like Nicole Nemia have answered the call.
Breaks our heart. If it was up to me, we'd be down in the water in a boat rescuing dogs.
Coast Guard Chantal Gabaldon's job is to save people. She fosters Houston pets like Midnight on her own time.
I feel it's the least I can do to get them off to good homes.
This is just a way station. Soon these dogs will be on the move again. The dogs that are being loaded onto that truck will be driven to a spacious shelter in Spokane, Washington, where they'll be put up for adoption.
Oh, what a good boy.
But there's a problem.
The problem is that gas stations are running out of fuel.
With so many relief vehicles on the road to Houston, there's a shortage of diesel. They'll keep going back to Houston for more dogs until they run out of gas. Seeing all these rescued pets, I'm haunted by the dogs I left in Rockport.
Should you try to rescue, let them out, or just assume that maybe the owner will come back? And
It's always a judgment call, and that's part of a natural disaster.
So they wait. Kim Brunhuber, CBC News, San Antonio, Texas.
Now to some unwanted creatures. You may have seen these images shared online. Fire ants, the kind with a painful bite, huddling together to survive after Harvey. Equal parts deadly and intriguing. We asked the CBC's Salima Sijde to find out more.
In the floodwaters of Texas, creatures lurk. Snakes slithering too close for comfort. Alligators, too.
He's inside of the fence again.
But just as alarming for some are these rafts of fire ants banding together in giant flotillas. One man reported a swarm near a reservoir, warning, do not touch with your oar or paddle. And in another photo, what looks like a muddy riverbank, one man says is in fact all fire ants. A strange sight that this entomologist says is normal practice for fire ants in flood zones.
This is forming this mass of body parts. And then trapped between these sort of masses of body parts will be air. And then the air, of course, will float on the water.
Researchers at Georgia Tech University studied the phenomenon. They found fire ants in the southern U.S. clump together and hold on so tightly they form a bumpy surface that withstands the water, keeping the rafts afloat. The ants are also always moving, rotating spots so those at the bottom don't drown. And being an invasive species to Texas, the knowledge of how to do this came from back home.
The Pantanal region of Argentina and primarily Brazil, and these are areas that flood quite regularly. So it makes a lot of sense that they will have developed these behaviors to allow them to survive flood conditions there.
The ants can be aggressive and occasionally deadly if you're allergic and go into anaphylactic shock.
There's lots of these ants, so you can get multiple stings, and then you've just got this sort of buildup of effect. So you'd be stung by 20, 30, 100 ants, and in that case it will be quite painful.
But he says once the waters recede, the ants will also be yearning to go back underground where they belong.
A colony of fire ants floating through.
Salima Shivji, CBC News, Toronto.
Ugh. Here at home, a lot of people in northern Manitoba are feeling quite exhausted tonight. Hundreds of residents from 3 remote First Nations were transported away from raging wildfires into temporary shelters. But just getting to a safe place was a Herculean task. Cameron McIntosh has the latest.
Finally, a ride out. 2 Canadian Forces Hercules aircraft, a welcome sight to fire evacuees, waiting nearly 2 days in thick smoke as fire bears down on Manitoba's Wasagamak First Nation.
There was flames all over the place, smoke.
Those planes are part of an ongoing airlift that carried out 1,400 people to Winnipeg today, where the skies are also hazy with smoke, and where the city's convention center has been turned into a shelter for 1,000.
You're totally tired. So right now I just want to get settled in and go lay down or relax or something.
Manitoba is just the latest front in what has been a very intense fire season in Western Canada. At 3,700, the overall number of evacuees is low compared to other places, but moving them out of 3 isolated First Nations communities is very complex. Just to get to a plane, nearly 2,000 Wasagamak residents had to cross a lake by boat to the nearest airstrip, then endure a long, smoky wait for small planes that have been flying in nonstop.
Not a lot of companies just have planes lying around. It doesn't make business sense. So we're very thankful for the operators of these charters.
Those Hercs are speeding it all up. As for the fire, it's still on Wasagamak's doorstep. It's just one of several fires posing a threat to nearby communities.
We're definitely holding him back, and the only thing is it's so dry. Any new starts we do get is another challenge on our resources as well as our efforts. So we have to keep vigilant, on everything.
Meanwhile, those evacuees are settling in.
It's sad when once you're in a room away from your home and knowing that there's fire back home.
Right now, there are still about 1,000 evacuees in the north that need to be airlifted out. The Red Cross is hoping to have them in Winnipeg by tomorrow. Right now, it's setting up more shelter space to accommodate them. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Conservative MP Jerry Ritz is retiring from federal politics and won't return to the Commons when the House resumes next month. He served as Agriculture Minister under Prime Minister Stephen Harper. Ritz also says he won't seek the leadership of the Saskatchewan Party and enter provincial politics. And Calgary MP Darshan Kang is also resigning from the federal Liberal caucus, but under a cloud of controversy. Kang says he wants to focus on clearing his name after being accused of sexually harassing a young female staffer in his constituency office. He denies the allegations. An independent investigator is now reviewing the case. And though he's no longer in caucus, Kang will remain a member of Parliament. Well, it was 20 years ago today that Princess Diana died. There were no official commemorations in Britain today, but people made sure that she wasn't forgotten. Thousands gathered outside Diana's former home at Kensington Palace to pay tribute to her. A similar but smaller scene in Paris, right above the tunnel where she died in a car crash. Today, a French firefighter at the scene that day told Rolling Stone magazine he thought she was going to survive and that her last words were, "What happened?" Soon after, she went into cardiac arrest and died later in hospital. Diana's companion, Dodi Fayed, and the driver of their car were also killed. And a bit later, we'll revisit Diana's first trip to Canada. But first, a Saskatoon hospital breaks new ground by keeping parents in touch with their premature babies.
There are times when unconfirmed reports can start to play out in what's happening in front of you and on the screen. And that's when you get trapped a little bit, because if the story is starting to be dictated by unconfirmed reports, in the telling of the story, you've got to try and bring the audience along on this. I remember, the attacks in Ottawa on Parliament Hill a couple of years ago. There was a point at which, I believe it was either the Ottawa Police or the RCMP, put out the word that there was something going on at the Rideau Centre, which is the kind of shopping mall across the street from Parliament Hill. I think it was the Ottawa Police. And this was based on unconfirmed reports. But here was the police on the police radio saying, they didn't say, they said there's somebody there. And so this then became part of the reason why there was a lot of discussion around that day about whether there was more than one person with guns. So, you could ignore this or you can go with it, because it is impacting what's happening in front of you. And so I think most people went with it to some level. We had Rosie Barton was right across the street, kind of trapped inside the Chateau Laurier in the lobby, trying to do live reports on what was happening from her vantage point. And so she tried to deal with all the aspects of that particular angle as well. But the basic fact is, as Paul says, on days like that, when there's a breaking story, lots of stuff is wrong, especially at the beginning. You can have two eyewitnesses, good people, honest people, who aren't trying to spin anything, could be standing next to each other and recall events very differently. The number of shots, the number of people, all these things. And you're confronted with this kind of dilemma of trying to break it down. So what you're always trying to do is be as transparent as possible about the information you do have, weed out what you don't believe or haven't been able to double or triple or more than that source sometimes. But sometimes it can be pretty hard.
This video of a North Atlantic right whale tangled in fishing ropes grabbed attention this week. Today, officials said the whale may have managed to free itself and join a nearby pod. Just this year, at least 13 right whales have been found dead off the East Coast. Government officials are working to better protect the whales from the fishing industry. They're a must-have for many new parents. Video monitors for babies keep a close eye on newborns from afar. Now, a hospital in Saskatoon is using similar technology to help parents with babies who are in intensive care. Bonnie Allen reports.
Even though we were prepared that we would have to have the babies in the NICU, it was for sure emotional.
Having not one, but 3 babies in the neonatal intensive care unit is a lot to deal with. Erin Tritton traveled 200 kilometers to Saskatoon to give birth to triplets 9 weeks prematurely. She's staying in the city while her husband is working back home on their farm. Helping families connect from afar is one reason the Royal University Hospital decided to install web cameras on each incubator.
My husband has accessed them because he's at home harvesting and farming right now, so he's able to access to see the babies at any time when he can't be here.
A secure, encrypted transmission allows families to watch a live stream of their babies using their phones or computers. The triplets' grandmother checks in 3 times a day from Alberta.
Gives you more of a contact and a bond, and it also gives you reassurance.
It's a first in Canada, with more hospitals planning to follow suit. But the nursing manager admits staff were apprehensive.
They were worried about it and thinking that, they're going to be recording everything we're saying and they're going to be watching us work. But they're not. There's no audio on the cameras, so they're just video.
Those reservations don't surprise an American researcher who has studied the impact of neonatal cameras. Hospitals in 14 states already use them.
It does cause stress or anxiety when the mother or father views the baby and the baby's crying, or maybe it's in an uncomfortable position, or for some reason if the camera is off, mothers and fathers automatically assume the worst.
That can result in more phone calls and increased workload for nurses who must reassure families. But overall, studies show a positive impact.
I can check in at any time and feel less anxious about leaving the babies.
Much needed comfort during a stressful time. Bonnie Allen, CBC News, Regina.
Armed police are exiting some Toronto schools. It was a controversial program, and the Toronto District School Board has now suspended it. Critics said their presence intimidated some students. Ron Charles has that story tonight.
A lot of troubled students come through those.
This is the image the Toronto Police Service promotes for its 37 school resource officers. Cops, sometimes wearing T-shirts rather than uniforms, organizing programs like this girls' boxing club.
That's why I'm here. That's the whole purpose of the school resource programs.
Or officers in uniform, easily engaging with students, breaking down barriers.
We really get to know one another.
But the image some parents and community activists have is very different.
They just had research in regards to towards race and equity education, outlining the devastating effect that it has on our Black students and youth. The negative very much inhibits their own learning process, even not wanting to attend schools because of police presence.
Trustees of the Toronto District School Board listened to that, voting last night to temporarily suspend the board's participation in the resource officer program. Just under a third of the board's 105 high schools had officers. Trustee Merritt Stiles says the suspension will allow the board to conduct a full review and consultations.
It's not just what, principals and administrators think, but most importantly, what do our students think? And specifically, the most vulnerable and marginalized students who seem to be the most affected.
She said some students might have been afraid to participate in the review with police still in the schools, but not these students who had praise for their resource officer.
I don't really know if he was biased or anything like that. I think he was just kind of there for all the students' well-being.
I feel like having a police officer in the school is just like another safety blanket to have just in case anything does go wrong.
The decision to suspend the program doesn't affect officers at 35 Catholic and French high schools in Toronto. The Toronto District School Board hopes to have its review of the school resource officers done by its November meeting, where trustees will decide whether to scrap the program altogether. Ron Charles, CBC News, Toronto.
And up next, the BC coast. Beautiful, but vulnerable.
It's just completely irresponsible. The government has been warned that this could happen.
We've already seen what a spill can do. Now that tanker traffic may expand, we re-examine the limits of cleanups. Plus, Russians embrace Kalashnikov chic. It's not just for killing anymore.
A new disease with some old familiar symptoms has struck teenage girls around the world. The disease is called Duranitis, and the symptoms are screaming, swooning, and tears of ecstasy. It strikes whenever the British rock band Duran Duran appears. This week, thousands of Calgary teenagers fell victim when Duran Duran opened its North American tour in that city. Marion Coomey reports.
Simon, Andy, Nick, John, and Roger are Duran Duran, a popular British rock group. They've been dubbed the Fab Five, but such comparisons to the Beatles aren't because the music is similar, it's because of the girls. Since there's been music aimed at young people, there have been screaming fans. They swooned over Frank Sinatra in the 40s. In the 60s, fans created a new word, Beatlemania, for their love of John, Paul, George, and Ringo. Today, they're called Duranis.
They're very, very dedicated to us. And they hang around in hotels, waiting for us to come down and follow us when we go out shopping, things like that. And we certainly have a lot of young fans, and I wouldn't swap them for anything in the world.
What's wrong with 14-year-old girls?
15-year-old Laurie Evans and 17-year-old Julia Kim are dedicated Duran Duran fans. They've read all the articles ever written on their idols. Laurie's room is full of posters, pictures, buttons, all the records, even Duran Duran's shoes.
I used to think that people who had posters and listened to and bought all the albums were a little bit spinny and not quite in touch with reality and were groupies. But then when Duran Duran came along, it didn't seem like that. I'm not quite sure why, actually. Because I'm supposed to be the stable type, like not go crazy over Duran Duran or, you know.
And so do you think it makes you seem unstable because you really like a rock group?
Yeah, they're seeing the other side of me.
More than 8,000 Duran Duran fans, most of them under 18, went to the Olympic Saddle Dome to hear what the band calls their music without a message. They willingly lined up to buy $25 sweatshirts and other souvenirs, and then pushed their way into $15 seats to await their heroes.
Ladies and gentlemen of Canada, this, the Calgary tonight, is the beginning of our North American tour.
Do you get tired of being associated with, their five great-looking guys?
I get a bit, I think sometimes, I've got a little bit more to offer than just that.
Some rock critics say that to become a long-term success, Duran Duran will have to change its image as a teeny bopper group. But for now, they remain young, good-looking, clean-cut, well-dressed, musically adept, full of catchy, danceable tunes, the stuff teen fantasies are made of.
This is possibly the best concert in history of civilization as we know it, okay? It was awesome. It was unbelievable. And Simon Le Bon is so gorgeous, it isn't even funny.
We not only do not have the oil spill response capabilities, but it's just impossible to actually contain a spill once it happens.
A BC pipeline expansion is one step closer. The National Energy Board has given its blessing to Kinder Morgan's Trans Mountain project. If provincial hurdles are also cleared, oil tanker traffic will increase sharply, and so will the odds of something going wrong. Last year, a diesel fuel spill provided a test case. Once again, Chris Brown sizes up the first responders and whether they're ready or not.
First light in the morning of October 13th revealed a disaster in the making on British Columbia's central coast.
Prince Rupert traffic, Nathan East Stewart, good morning. We have run aground here at Seaforth Channel.
A U.S. tug and fuel barge returning from Alaska had hit rocks near Bella Bella.
We're taking on more water. Levels in the engine room are coming up to the generator there, so we won't be sure too long here. We're going to lose power.
Using their small boats, members of the nearby Halsek Nation tried to push the enormous vessels in a futile attempt to save the shoreline.
There's fuel just flowing out of the boat.
The sinking triggered a huge spill response with dozens of vessels, the Coast Guard's largest ships, and more than 250 personnel. Yet it was unable to prevent tens of thousands of liters of diesel fuel from polluting a pristine area.
That's turbo like right there.
It's home to whales, eagles, and other birds, and where the beaches are abundant in clams and shellfish. Those who live near the spill site see the Nathan E. Stewart as a cautionary tale that it's exceedingly difficult, perhaps even impossible, to clean up any spill on the BC coast. And they say it's why the wisest policy is to say no to ships with the potential to cause the worst accidents.
People making their living from herring fisheries, clam fisheries, salmon fisheries, those will all be impacted. It's going to be felt for years.
In the days afterwards, we went out to the sunken tug with Ian McAllister. He's an award-winning wildlife photographer and environmentalist who lives in an island just 25 minutes from the spill site.
So here we have a 120-foot long tugboat that goes down. They can't even contain and deal with the spill of that nature. It's just unfathomable to think that they would allow tankers carrying far more harmful petroleum products onto this coast, given what we've witnessed over the last week.
More oil tankers are on the way. Right now, one mid-sized tanker a week docks in Vancouver, but with the expansion of Kinder Morgan's Trans Mountain pipeline, it will jump to more than one tanker a day.
This should be a wake-up call that we not only do not have the oil spill response capabilities, but it's just impossible to actually contain a spill once it happens.
In Bella Bella, people have spent the week since the tug sank studying what went wrong with the response.
And is it possible to tell from up here how much diesel has got into it? No, not really.
Harvey Humchit was one of the first at the scene that day.
And you could see the tug pounding on a rock. There was enough of a ground swell that it bounced the boat and the barge pretty well.
Humchit says the Halsek told the tug's crew how they could avoid banging against the rocks, but they didn't follow the advice and the fuel tanks punctured. Local knowledge, he says, that was ignored. Containment booms were constantly ripped away by storms and currents, and responders were repeatedly overwhelmed by conditions. As a result, the diesel fuel leaked for more than a month, fouling a valuable ecosystem, closing fisheries, and ruining livelihoods. What should their takeaway be from what has happened here?
Local people here are mariners. They live on the water. They know and breathe the ocean. And they should be trusted to take on responsibilities and make decisions.
Yeah, you can definitely see the slick.
When we were out with Ian McAllister, he put up his drone to see just how much of the slick wasn't being contained. Diesel is thinner than crude, which makes it harder to capture. A sophisticated oil retrieval device called a current buster, countless skimmers, and a surveillance aircraft, all of it seemed inadequate to stop the fuel from spreading. Only about half of the diesel from the tug was ever recovered.
The ongoing incident at Bella Bella is unacceptable. I know this. You know this. Canadians know this. It's time for a change.
Not long after the tug went down, the Prime Minister was in Vancouver to unveil the new coastal protection strategy. The plan had been in the making for months, but it acknowledged many of the deficiencies identified by the HELSEC. First Nations will now be trained as first responders and given more control over the scene, and there will be more tugs and vessels to get to emergencies faster. Just as firefighters often can't stop forests from burning, spill responders usually can't get most of the oil. They're limited by time, resources, and the kind of fuel that spills. Industry-wide, the most commonly accepted statistic is only 10 to 15% of spilled oil ever gets recovered from the water. When you hear that 10 to 15% figure, that doesn't give people confidence.
So again, I think you're using 10%, 15%, that's an average on offshore oil spills. You cannot take that and apply to all spills. Okay, you're looking at where the spill happens and the type of product. Now we've had spills in here where we've got 95% of that product.
Lowry says recovering oil is just one way to clean up. Chemical dispersants and other countermeasures that help nature deal with the oil are also critical. And that's why there's nothing in Canada's laws that provide targets about how much oil must be recovered. So how do you judge success then?
Yeah, I think you judge success by how fast you can respond to a spill, how well that your plans were executed in that situation.
With the Kinder Morgan expansion, the Western Canada Marine Response Corporation will receive an additional $200 million, 9 times its existing budget, to add more staff, equipment, and bases to get to spills faster. The waters off BC's south coast were identified in a 2013 government report as being among the highest risk areas in Canada for the worst kind of spill. But the report also says that risk is remote, just once in 242 years.
I accept the fact that what we're trying to do, and as our government has said very often, we want to achieve high standards with respect to the environment, but we also recognize that there's an important economic element to our mandate, and that is, in this particular case, when we're talking about shipping, we are a trading nation and we need to be able to ship.
33 days after the Nathan E. Stewart sank, it was finally back above water again, under the floodlights, lifted by a giant crane onto a barge. The enduring legacy for people here is that despite all of the resources thrown at the cleanup, much of what spilled was never recovered. And if there's a big tanker accident, it's best not to pretend that will be any different. Chris Brown, CBC News in Bella Bella.
Up next, a lethal weapon gets a makeover in Russia. How the Kalashnikov became cool?
Good evening from London. It was a glittering and magnificent ceremony here at historic St. Paul's Cathedral, the marriage of Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer.
It was as if all of London was in love. 600,000 people filling the streets, come to share a special day. As they cheered every carriage, and as they listened quietly to the ceremony on the speakers,
I pronounce that they be man and wife together.
they were, quite simply, rejoicing.
Because I love these things. I love royal weddings and royal anything.
Yes, it's Britain, isn't it? It's Britain.
We're here because we're English, we're British. This is a great day for us.
The crowd in front of me today has been absolutely marvellous. They've enjoyed themselves watching the procession, and they seem to have enjoyed it thoroughly.
It was a time to forget all the troubles, and anyone who tried to bring them up didn't have a chance.
country. That's
It's
it
good
in a
for the
nutshell.
country, yeah,
It's good
but...
for ordinary people like me who go to work every day.
Yeah,
And
but
for
what about
thousands
people
and
that
millions
haven't
of
got
other
jobs?
people like us, all right?
What about
It's
people that
good
haven't
for
got
us.
jobs?
I enjoy it.
What about
That's all
fellas
there is
like
to
me
it.
as well? What about fellas like me?
It's just for the ordinary working people who go to work every day who've got a job. Right, we're lucky we've got a job.
Yeah, but
This
what about
is
the people that
marvellous.
haven't
This
got
is
a job?
England.
Not only the British thought it was marvelous, the Trudeau children watched from Canada House with their mother.
Well, I thought it was like a fairy tale. And like the trumpets and the band and the Prince Charles was the prince and Lady Diana was the princess and was very happy.
What did you think of Lady Diana?
I think she was very beautiful, and I'm glad that Prince Charles has picked her. He has made a very good choice.
Misha, what did you think of the whole thing?
I think the band was nice. I'm a musician myself, so I would think it's nice all the time. Lady Diana was nice, Charles was nice, the church was nice, the Queen was nice.
Not just the children, but all the world seemed captivated by the beautiful princess in her magnificent dress.
She looked beautiful. She had lovely frills around here, and she looked like a lemon colour, didn't it? Lemony cream, it wasn't white. Lovely.
Even as they saw it, this London fashion house was copying it, frantically working from a sketch made the moment the bride appeared on television.
Ours is white, hers was ivory, mortar cream. Secondly, really the important thing is we are not using pure silk, we're using artificial silks, and therefore it's a lot cheaper than Lady Diana's or Princess of Wales dress would be if one could buy it, which of course you can't.
Within hours, 3 copies of the dress will be in London stores. Within days, thousands. The wedding has obviously been a tremendous boost for the British fashion industry and for the British economy, and also, perhaps above all, even if only fleetingly, for a faltering British spirit. Eve Savory, CBC News, London.
Johnny's back. I never thought it would happen to me. You better be prepared, is what I'm saying.
An all-new Still Standing, Tuesdays at 8 on CBC.
Summer is golden. The CBC Sports app. 500+ hours of live competition. Download the CBC Sports app.
It is one of the most instantly recognizable weapons ever created, and one with dark connotations. From action movies to the nightly news, the AK-47 has long been synonymous with bad guys, standard issue for Soviet troops, revolutionaries, and terrorists. But now, in its home country, it is enjoying a renaissance. Let's take another look at the rebirth of the Kalashnikov. Friday night, Moscow, at a downtown bar. In this cave-like space, weapons on every wall. Artifacts from the Great War, the Cold War, even modern warriors. Its name, Razvedka, means intelligence service. It is the local watering hole for Russian spooks and security police, given its proximity directly across from the former KGB, now FSB. What then could be more fitting than its Kalashnikov door handles, the infamous Russian-made weapon with its deadly reputation? In an old Moscow brewery, gun enthusiasts pay to experience the Kalashnikov, a gun of legend. Tatiana Glukova is a medic in the Russian army who wants more practice and some shooting tips.
This is AK-47, the original one. It shoots with the 7.62 bullet. It's very famous, even in nowadays. It's a very famous weapon and very durable.
Igor Fedukin manages the shooting gallery, which opened 18 months ago.
Do you get tourists too?
Yes, sure. We have a lot of tourists from all over the world, from Germany, Netherlands, United States, Canada. So they come and try shooting, especially Kalashnikov and other famous Russian guns. They just interested how we shoot in real life, how it's difficult or not to shoot from real Kalashnikov.
The AK-47 is a weapon of choice for murderers, mercenaries, and soldiers. With its invention in 1947, Soviet engineer Mikhail Kalashnikov became as famous as his gun. An estimated 100 million are still in circulation. But the company has lurched through good years and bad ones, especially after Russia annexed Crimea in 2014, when the US and Canada slapped sanctions on individuals and companies, including barring any business with Kalashnikov, sending a shockwave through the arms maker.
This was a big hit for us, for sure. When the sanctions were introduced, we dropped our export volume nearly by half.
As Vladimir Dmitriev tells it, Kalashnikov was forced to retool the company from the factory floor up.
As long as you're being cut from one of the most profitable and prosperous markets for you, you have to find some other strategy. And that answer we managed to find in the diversification of the business itself.
Today, Kalashnikov Group is undergoing modernization.
What's emerged is a modernized factory with new investment in small arms and now unmanned surveillance. Export orders have doubled, says the company, from countries not part of the sanctions.
So this is the one?
The newest AK should hit the civilian market this year, followed by its military cousin.
I think we are still the good old Russian guys who are producing the good old Kalashnikov. But now we are also technologically profound.
And now, at a Moscow airport, Kalashnikov sets its sights beyond gun-toting warriors. More to the traveling consumer eager to snap up a little something with the branded K.
So what does that mean, I'm your father?
It's an old one, and I think it tells to the new one that he's his father. The Kalashnikov for Russians, it's not a brand, it's something in the legacy of every man in Russia.
Kalashnikov opened this first-in-the-world concept store here at Moscow's Sheremetyevo Airport. So prior to boarding, you can get branded Kalashnikov products, everything from a mock-up rifle to a kid's t-shirt.
Yeah, for kids too. I love AK. The AK is Kalashnikov rifle.
I love AK in children's sizes.
Children's sizes, yep.
Is anybody ever offended by that?
No, not at all.
You can't buy an AK-47 here, or any ammunition, but you can purchase or order a mock-up rifle or one that shoots pellets.
The second type we have, it's a one that can shoot blank bullets. Everything the same like on a mock-up, except one thing, it can shoot real blank bullets.
Plans are to expand the concept stores in Russia, then beyond. Also, to manufacture plastic rifles aimed at teens playing strike ball, blurring the line between mock and real. Offering pistols for purchase here.
This one is one of the most famous pneumatic pistols in Russia.
Artyom, do people actually come into this store in an airport and buy a pistol?
Yeah, every day actually.
Really?
Yeah. So why not? And I think it's a good gift from Russia, a good souvenir.
Something to slip into your luggage. A memento of Russia's famed weaponry, packaged a little more gently.
Okay, turning back the clock, stay tuned for more memories of Princess Diana. On her first visit to Canada, did she send a message with her choice of dress?
This is the National News Bulletin, a summary of the day's news.
Even bad news sounded good in those exciting, terrible days when radio news came of age, especially when read by our own voice of doom, Lorne Greene. And Haas was a Colt.
Naval battle in the South Pacific.
Madam, will you please put away that knitting? You're going to have to applaud, you know. Now, let's all relax
Everybody, shall we? Nobody be nervous.
And to balance the glum news from overseas, CBC Radio offered happy-go-lucky fare.
Who's there? It's the Happy Gang. Well, come on in.
It all began in 1901. The discoverer of wireless, Marconi, received his first transatlantic radio message from Signal Hill in Newfoundland.
Hi! And CBC Radio has been seeing to it that Canada gets the message ever since. In an array of programs from music talk shows like this, ranging through schools and youth, agriculture, religion, serious music, and variety.
A busy place, the CBC, and a big country to serve. How do you suppose all these programs get to all the people spread all over the map?
Well, if you think of the network as a superhighway, then you can picture national program clearance as the traffic cop who keeps things flowing smoothly. National program clearance arranges distribution of our radio and TV programs by landlines and by coast-to-coast microwave network. Just to complicate matters, there are several problems arising out of the different time zones into which the country is divided, not to mention line availability.
Ah, yes, line availability.
I said not to mention that.
Oh, sorry.
A CBC color presentation.
Let's follow an average broadcasting day from the beginning. It's very simple. There's the business of booking studios, getting the slides to telecine, last-minute news inserts, coffee to be ordered, public affairs specials, graphics to be ordered and approved, clear screen projection to be set up, stage hands to be scheduled, coffee to be brought, feeds to be lined up, pianos to tune, light bulbs to be replaced, monitors to be serviced, press releases to be issued, coffee to be tasted, props to be picked up, cameras to be fired, shot lists to be typed, rehearsals to be scheduled, contracts to be drawn up, cold coffee to be dumped, memos to be filed.
Hold it, cut!
Cut? The only way this will cut is go back to the beginning.
As we mentioned earlier, it was 20 years ago today that Princess Diana died, a death still mourned by people around the world, including here in Canada. So we thought we'd take a look back on her very first trip here, just 2 years into her marriage, when she charmed people right across the country. Terry Reith has the story.
From Atlantic Canada to Ottawa to Edmonton, the 1983 Royal Tour was unlike any other.
Maybe it was just the human factor that she'd infused into the Royals.
Everywhere they went, crowds lined the streets, and those she stopped to meet were awestruck.
She was so beautiful, charming, elegant, the way she carried herself. So impressive.
Royal Highness the Princess of Wales is wearing a blue, white, and yellow silk striped dress.
Her sense of fashion also on full show, and unknown to most of the time, so was her sense of humor and early rebellion. In Edmonton, she was asked to wear a period costume at historic Fort Edmonton Park.
And this is the dress.
The dress she chose was from the wardrobe of a 1978 British miniseries, Lily, the story of a young woman in Victorian England who'd had an affair with a Prince of Wales. A deliberate choice, says Michael Smith, who bought the dress and documented its history.
She was aware of the affair between Kimberly and Charles, but there wasn't much she really do about it. She had no real power or anything.
Smith says many royal watchers got the joke, but most just saw a beautiful princess.
The fairy tale princess look to is timeless.
There is little doubt that Diana won hearts on her first visit to Canada. Some say the young, somewhat rebellious royal changed the world's view of the monarchy.
It was all about her, the visit. That's who people came to see, and that was the memory that they wanted to leave with, I think.
34 years after that first visit to Canada, people are still moved by the woman known as the People's Princess. Terry Reith, CBC News, Edmonton.
And that is The National. For news at any hour, go to our website, cbcnews.ca. I'm Susan Ormiston. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you here tomorrow night.